So I have been a holder of both Indian and American passports, and there are quite a few stark differences between the two. So let's explore and compare them side by side to see how they differ. First thing first, as is the case with all passports, they are exactly the same size, okay? But the very first difference that you notice here is that this American passport has this kind of chip over here. I'm not too sure if Indian passport has any chip inside. Probably not, but this is the very first difference that you notice. But the real differences come out when you actually open the two passports. Let us compare them side by side. As you can see here, the very first difference is that Indian passport has the city of issue. Whichever city you applied for your passport and got that passport, that is shown on your Indian passport. However, on the US passport, it is not the case. The US passport instead shows that the passport has been issued by the US Department of State, the department within the government that issues you the passport, but no city is indicated. Now, when it comes to the place of birth, the two passports are similar if you are born in those respective countries. In an Indian passport, it shows the city where you are born. However, if you are born outside of America, the city is not shown, only the name of the country is written there. The third difference between Indian and American passport is that Indian passport has your address printed at the end of your passport on the last page. However, on American passport, it is different in a sense that it is left blank and you are supposed to write your address with a pencil because the instructions clearly say that write your address in pencil. And I think it is better because if you happen to change your address, do you want to apply for a new passport all over again? For example, when I changed my address after getting the passport, I have changed my address 3 times. Okay, each time all I had to do was to erase that and write my new address with a pencil all over again. The fourth difference between the two passports is that American passport has a section for your international address. When you are traveling to a foreign country, it gives you the option to write your foreign address. Okay, Indian passport has no such section. Now, why I think it is a great idea that American passport includes this is that let's say you're traveling to some foreign country and you happen to lose your passport. Okay, so if somebody finds your passport, they know where you live in that particular country. The fifth point is that American passport has a section for your emergency contact. If something happens to you, if your passport is found, they know who to contact. There is no such provision in Indian passport. And it is indicated here in the bottom, right here, okay? In this bottom part, you can write the name, address and phone number of your emergency contact. The sixth difference between the two passports is that the way pages appear, okay? The way Indian passport's pages appear, all the pages are blank with 4 squares for stamps, supposedly, okay? Now, on the other hand, American passport is quite different and interesting because each page on American passport has American monuments. For example, you will see Mount Rushmore here. The last page here shows Statue of Liberty. Okay, so I think that is pretty cool that the pages are not bland and they are not blank. Instead, they indicate America's diversity and geography or other aspects of America. The seventh difference between the two passports is that Indian passport at the end has a section for your parents' names. Okay, American passport has no such thing. You don't have to write your parents' names at all in your passport. There is no such section at all. The eighth difference between the two passports, the standard simple passports, is that American passport has 20 useful pages. Okay, these are the pages where you can get your visa stamped and your immigration stamps done at the airports. Indian passport, on the other hand, the default number of useful pages, the blank pages for your visas and stamps, is 31. So Indian passport has 11 more pages than an American passport does. However, if you travel quite a bit, the issue is that if you are on an Indian passport, you will have to apply for visas, right? So visas will take some more space, whereas American passport does not require as many visas, so all you will have is immigration stamps. Therefore, if you travel regularly, a standard American passport is not good enough. You should apply for a thicker passport with more pages. I think around 52 pages is what you get on a thicker passport, and it costs a little bit more. But that would be a better deal than getting a standard passport. And that takes us to point number 9, which is the huge difference between the two passports is not based on the design and what is contained in the passports. Okay, the huge difference is the power of these two passports. Now, American passport is ranked number 6. This is as per Henley and Partners ranking of the world's passports. The American passport is ranked number 6, which is the sixth most powerful passport, only because you can travel visa-free or visa on arrival for 185 countries. India's passport, on the other hand, is ranked at number 90 because there are 58 countries that allow you to travel without a visa, or they will give you a visa on arrival. All the countries that allow you visa-free travel or visa on arrival for Indian citizens mostly also allow American citizens as well, with the exception of Iran. If you want to travel to Iran as an American, there is a more complicated process, whereas on an Indian passport, you can travel to Iran more easily. And I think the main reason for such difference in the power of these two passports is because India has such a huge population and the prosperity of the two countries are remarkably different, and it is the prosperity index probably that decides how powerful your passport is, because if you are from a more prosperous country, it is unlikely that you will go and travel to some other country and violate visa rules and overstay there. Therefore, countries are more strict when they are giving visas to people from less prosperous countries as compared to those other citizens of more prosperous countries where they are more lenient. The 10th difference between these two passports is that when you apply for an Indian passport, as far as I remember, the last time I renewed my passport is that I had to go to a certain office and then show up and sign documents there in person. However, when it comes to an American passport, you don't have to do that. You can just apply for the passport, you can print the application, then put original documents. For example, when you are applying for a passport, you have to show the proof of citizenship and you must send the original document for that proof. If you are born in the US, you need to send your birth certificate, the original copy. However, if you became a naturalized citizen, you need to include your citizenship certificate and mail that along with one more document which shows your address. For example, in my case, I had to send my citizenship certificate along with the copy of my driver's license, and they both served as my identities. And based on those two documents, I applied for my passport, and then within 2 to 3 weeks, you get your passport back. And once you get your passport back, within a week or so, you get your original document back as well. The 11th and the final difference between the two passports is related to the application fee. So now there are different kinds of passports that you can apply for, right? You can apply for a fresh passport, you can apply for a renewal, you can apply for a passport with more pages. So to keep things simple, let us consider a case where you apply for a fresh standard passport, okay? For your first fresh standard passport. The cost of fresh standard passport in India is around 1500 rupees, which is equal to $20, almost $20, okay? On the other hand, American passport will cost you $145, which is equal to 11,000 rupees. So American passport will cost you more than 7 times as much as an Indian passport will. But it is not a fair comparison because $145 to get a passport in the US is not that much. So I hope you enjoyed learning about the differences between the two passports. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind and God bless America. So I have had both Indian and American passports. Okay, no. Okay.